All right, let's get right into it. What we're breaking down today comes from a really powerful modern manifesto. Think of it as a defiant guide for breaking free from the systems that promised us everything but, as a lot of us are feeling now, are actually failing us. And this isn't just about pointing fingers. It's a kind of blueprint for a life built on abundance and real adventure.
And boom, the manifesto just kicks off with this incredible line. It doesn't ease you in at all. It throws you right into the fire, literally. The whole idea here is that the foundation we were all told to build our lives on, it was never stable in the first place. It was always burning.
And this is the question that really drives the whole thing. It's asking us to think about a pretty radical idea. What if the very structures that were supposed to help us, schools, the media, our jobs, what if they weren't designed to set us free, but to keep us in a box?
So how does the manifesto lay this all out? It starts with this central metaphor that's really easy to picture. Society's key institutions are like a burning house with crumbling walls.
And let's be super clear here. The argument isn't that these institutions just made a few mistakes along the way. No, the point is that they were designed to be traps. They were built to teach obedience and to make us measure our own worth by these completely hollow standards. And now, the text says, the whole thing is falling apart, and the people in charge are just lost in the smoke they created.
So the manifesto doesn't just stick with a metaphor. It actually names names. It points to the specific architects of this burning house and calls them the gatekeepers of scarcity.
First up on the list, the school system. According to this text, schools promised to light a fire in us, to make us curious. But what did they deliver instead? For many, it was just boredom and a rule book. They rewarded following the rules over having real talent, and they kind of stamped out big, visionary ideas. It left a lot of people feeling like they just weren't good enough.
Next, we've got the media, which the manifesto basically calls a carnival of distraction. The argument is that it trained us to want all the shallow stuff, turning our minds into these mirrors that just reflect what everyone else has, instead of being windows to what's actually possible for us. And finally, of course, the corporate world. It's described as this rigged game where you came from mattered more than what you could create. The manifesto says it taught us this really damaging lesson, that happiness, that adventure, those are things you have to wait for, things you have to earn by being a good little worker, not things you could just go out and claim for yourself.
Now here's where it all connects. And this is what's really fascinating. All of these so-called gatekeepers, they're all running on the same operating system, what the manifesto calls the scarcity mindset. Think about it. Schools create compliant workers for the corporations, and the media keeps us all distracted and wanting more. It's like this whole ecosystem built to support one single idea, that all the good stuff in life is limited, and you have to struggle and obey to get your tiny little slice of it.
Okay, but after laying out all that doom and gloom, the manifesto makes a hard pivot toward the solution. It argues that people are finally waking up. We're going through what it calls a great evolution, this huge internal shift away from scarcity and toward abundance.
And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. On the left, you've got the old rules, right? The lies. Earn your joy. Wait your turn. But on the right, you've got this liberating truth. Happiness isn't some prize you win at the end of the game. It's your birthright. And adventure? Man, that doesn't need a permission slip from anyone.
The manifesto makes a really important point here. The anger isn't aimed at people who are out there living amazing lives. Not at all. The anger is for the systems that tried to convince us that joy was some rare commodity. In fact, those people living their best lives, they're not the enemy. They're net proof that a world of abundance is actually real.
So that brings us to the final part, the vision of what life actually looks like once you've walked out of that burning house, once you embrace this new way of thinking, this liberation.
It's a life defined by action. You travel, you create, you just live. And you'll notice what's missing, right? There's no more desperate search for approval from the outside. You stop measuring your life by the broken yardsticks of those old institutions you left behind. Your worth, it comes from you.
And the whole thing ends with this amazing triumphant image. This isn't about being a victim who barely crawled out of the wreckage. No way. This is about walking away with a sense of total victory and freedom, laughing as you head out to explore the world on your own damn terms. And so, this whole breakdown leaves us with one last, very provocative thought. It turns the entire message of the manifesto right back at us and asks a really personal question. After seeing this blueprint, what burning house in your own life are you ready to just turn around and walk away from?